Learning English doesn't have to feel like homework. In this story, you'll absorb real conversation patterns, everyday expressions, and clever sentence structures just by following someone's wild climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower using only spoken directions. So hit subscribe, give it a like, and share it with someone who learns best through adventure. Neela stood outside a metro station in Paris with no phone, no map, and just one goal: reach the top of the Eiffel Tower. She had decided that for one day, she would only ask people for directions. No technology allowed. The idea felt fun at first, the kind of thing travelers do to feel more connected. But once she stepped onto the street and realized how huge the city was, her confidence started to shake a little. She picked a direction and began walking. The first person she asked was a woman carrying a baguette and a tiny dog. Neela smiled, pointed up with her hand like it was a little tower, and said in her clearest voice, "Excuse me, where is Eiffel Tower?" The woman smiled back, nodded quickly, and started explaining, in French. Neela caught a few words, maybe right and walk, and a long arm motion. She thanked her, turned right, and started moving. It felt strange at first, relying only on human help. But the more she did it, the more she liked it. At every corner, she found someone new. A student on a bike. A man selling postcards. A group of teenagers sitting on steps. She always asked the same thing: "Where is Eiffel Tower?" Some people answered with big gestures. Others drew invisible maps in the air. One man even walked with her for 2 whole blocks before waving goodbye. Each time, she moved a little closer. The tower appeared suddenly, not all of it, just the top half, peeking over some buildings. Her heart jumped. She laughed out loud. But she wasn't there yet. The hardest part was the final stretch. She reached a busy roundabout with 5 different exits and no signs. She turned to a woman with a stroller and asked again. This time, the answer was simple. A single finger pointed straight ahead. And there it was. The Eiffel Tower, tall, shining, and surrounded by people taking pictures. Neela stood in the grass for a minute just to take it in. Then she walked toward the base and stood in line to go up. Her legs were already tired, but she didn't mind. When she finally reached the top, Paris was beneath her. The river, the rooftops, the endless streets. And she realized something. She hadn't just reached the top of a famous tower. She had made it there using only her words, her questions, her voice, and her willingness to ask again and again. She opened her small notebook and wrote. No phone, no map, just people. Every wrong turn brought me closer. Every "excuse me" was a step up. And with that, she leaned on the railing, took a deep breath, and smiled. You didn't just follow a girl to the Eiffel Tower, you learned real English structures for asking directions, using past actions, and describing emotions, all without boring drills. That's how language sticks, through moments you feel. Now you tell me, if you had to reach a famous place using only your words, which one would you choose? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe if you believe stories make learning better. Like the video if you felt like you were right there with Neela. And share it with someone who needs to hear. You don't need perfect English. You just need to keep asking.